Strangely strange but oddly normal.
This is John Downs, and welcome to another version of On the Crack.
So, what are we doing in a school hall surrounded by daleks? Well, apart from the fact that it's the sort of thing we do, we're at the 3rd Yeovil Bug Fair, a wonderful event laid on by our friends Cara and Nick Wadham. We also have Max with us.
Someone save me, please!
And we also had Matt Osborne with us.
I'm at the moment knitting a scarf with the CFZ fertility at the bottom. That sounds for you. Okay. This is the second end. First end was green and I was knitting it at Christmas, and I've been working on this one all weekend since Christmas. When I've done this, I'm starting on a flowery dress for Fleur.
We also had Ol with us, but for once he didn't do anything particularly stupid or momentous, so he doesn't really warrant getting into this introductory section. But apart from eating bacon sandwiches, which were jolly good by the way, what were we actually doing there? Well, therein lies a tale. It all started in the Kruger National Park, one of the great expanses of wilderness of southern Africa. Most people from Britain, when they go there on holiday, go there in search of big game. But my mate Steve Payne went there looking for something much smaller, and what's more, he found it. He found a new species of scorpion. Aren't they gorgeous? They're similar to the well-known genus Hadrogenes, but considerably smaller. And furthermore, we know that these are the adult size because they've had babies. That's what we went to Yeovil for. Max is now the proud owner of 3 of the aforementioned babies. And another CFZ breeding project featuring a completely unknown animal is born. I always find February to be a particularly peculiar month. When it starts, you are unquestionably still in the heart of the winter. Yes, I mean, look at it. Woolsbury hasn't had so much snow in years. The village was even cut off for a few days. And in the CFZ garden, the CFZ animals struggled against the elements as if we were in the middle of the Arctic tundra. Ichabod the jackdaw looked particularly striking against the white background, and Biggles, Biggles was just being Biggles, and treated the snow mostly with indifference until he realised that he could roll in it, sniff in it, get up his nose, and then sneeze until he was nearly sick. And then, halfway through the month, something magical happens, round about the time of St. Valentine's Day, which this year was the 4th anniversary of me meeting Karina, and the 3rd anniversary of the death of my father. Mother Nature wakes up from her long sleep. The garden and the countryside begins to come alive again, and the world returns to normal. St. Valentine himself was probably an early Christian priest who got stoned, no, let's rephrase that, who was stoned to death for trying to convert the Emperor Claudius II to Christianity in the 3rd century. I have often wondered whether his feast day on the 14th of February, the day when people across the world celebrate romance and love, or are made to feel ostracised, unloved, unworthy and unwanted when they happen to be single, was originally a pagan fertility festival, a feast day for the ancient gods to celebrate the time when the sun began to return and the world, after the long, cold, hard and deadly winter, began to return to normal. One of the high spots of the last month was when Richard and I returned for the 2nd time to give a lecture at the Grant Museum of Zoology, part of the University of London. For some reason, our first appearance there last May had been so popular they wanted us back. Well, I was actually in Puerto Rico in 1998, the first time I went to Puerto Rico, and I was making a bloody awful documentary for Channel 4. And we went up into the... Oh, everybody see it? Oh, it was god-awful. I thought I was going there to make a serious documentary about the hunt for the chupacabra. What I was actually doing, I was going there to make a film about the fat bloke getting him out of a small car while the camera crew laughed. Yes, guys, you may have noticed, I'm afraid I could do with losing a few pounds. But we were in this cave system above the town of Agos Buenos, and the only reason we were there was that the local Santeria community did chicken sacrifices up there. And they wanted me to film, okay, fat bloke going to a small cave, but they wanted me to film me saying, this could be the place where the chupacabra lives, deep inside the living rock of the Satanic cave. They didn't pay me enough, so I didn't quite do that. But when I was inside of the living rock of the Satanic cave, I found some snails. Now these were really, really, really weird little buggers. I will share this with you guys. I have not properly gone public with it yet, for a number of reasons, mainly because I brought them back on 2 occasions. I'm trying to breed them so I can find more about them and more about how the species works before I go public with it. But years and years and years, has anybody here not heard of Eric von Daniken and a book called Chariots of the Gods? Eric von Daniken wrote some very nice books, jolly nice books, claiming that God was an astronaut, and that actually our planet had been visited by men from outer space in flying saucers, and that every religion in the modern world today was based on race memories of our visitors from probably Zeta Reticuli. I can't remember if it was Zeta Reticuli or what, but they made beeping noises and they had antennae, and this book sold massively. It was followed by a book called Gold of the Gods, Investigations of the Gods, something else of the Gods. I seem to remember everything apart from Carry On Chariots of the Gods was done. There were dozens of these goddamn things. But in one of them it told the story of some caves, where, if you go up there in the Satanic caves, you can see a carving of a flying saucer. Well, I went into these caves, I found the carving of the flying saucer, and I also found the flying saucer that was this big, crawling up the cave wall underneath. It's this weird little snail about this size long that looks just like a spinning top. And it looks very much like a popular image of a flying saucer. And I'm sure that the carving, which I found on the cave, that cave has been inhabited for thousands of years, once had a wooden basket underneath saying, this is where you put the snails because they're lunch. Because these snails are very, very, very closely related to, they're almost identical, but slightly different, to a well-known species of snail that lives in the forest, which even today are a gourmet delicacy, and I've eaten them, they're really, really nice. But the new species that I've discovered are these snails, the flying saucer, Satanic cave snails, if you will, are something completely unknown to science. And I find it fascinating how some population dynamics have meant that a plant-eating forest snail that lives up in leaves up in the forest canopy, it's not a ground snail, it's a forest tree snail, has, over God knows how many thousands of years, evolved into a closely related snail living in these caves. So yeah, we have found new animals. But it's our American friends who are flying the flag for the CFZ this month and really deserve to be congratulated.
Hi, I am Naomi West, reporting for the Center for Zoology. We are downtown in San Antonio, Texas, outside the retail shop Jackalope Joe's. Jackalope Joe's specializes in the sale of the jackalope, which is a legendary rabbit with antlers. Why don't we go check it out?
Naomi and her husband Richie are relatively new additions to the CFZ family, but by golly they've done well. Their report on Jackalope Joe's in downtown San Antonio is available for all to see for free on CFZtv, and if I were you, I'd check it out. And over in Illinois, there's Derek Grebner, and he's doing a bloody good job as well.
Howdy folks, this is Tex Grebner with Tex Grebner Outdoors, and right now I'm reporting for the CFZ, which is Center for Fortean Zoology, and I've been collecting reports of mountain lions, black bears, wolves, and other aberrant predators of Illinois that might be relic populations or displaced populations, or even species that are migrating into old territory because of species relic memory. So you can check out my bloggo on the CFZ website, and the CFZ Illinois project is actually going fairly well. Whether or not mountain lions are here in Illinois, I'm pretty sure they are, but it's only a matter of time before they are revealed to be here. But I mean, I don't know, they could just be traipsing through every now and then, and there might not be a breeding population. But with the amount of sightings that I have had reported to me, and evidence that I have heard of and possibly encountered, I'm open to the possibility of relic populations of either Great Lakes gray wolves, or even eastern mountain lions. If you look at the Appalachian Mountains, until they were supposedly exterminated, there is mountain lion lore all over the Appalachian Mountains. So it's not too hard to think that there could be isolated populations of Appalachian mountain lions, and I don't know. But anyways, this here's Tex Grebner with Tex Grebner Outdoors, currently working in conjunction with the Center for Fortean Zoology of Devon, England. Tune in to On the Track, and thanks for watching.
And then, of course, there's Jordan.
What are you reporting? I got a string going on out here. Something just killed my dog. Something killed your dog? My dog went flying through the air over the trees. I don't know how it did it. Okay. Yeah, but I'm really confused. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence, and he was dead when she hit the ground. I didn't see any cars. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence.
Jordan Warner is only 15, but as regular viewers of On the Track will know, he's responsible for one of the internet's best web TV shows. And this month, in a particularly stylish episode, Cryptid Hunt looks at Bigfoot.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal, or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on, and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man, or something looks like a man. I don't know what it was, just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it, but whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Zia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big... real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big. He is big.
But meanwhile, back on this side of the Atlantic, there are developments in the CFZ rodent group.
Right, at the moment, the population of spiny mice we have are just about as big as their cage will take. And we've actually got a few in there that are pregnant now. So we're actually going to almost double the size of their cage to give them a bit more space.
One of the most important CFZ projects of 2009 is establishing permanent static displays of biodiversity, cryptozoology and conservation in various pubs, hotels and holiday centres, initially around the southwest but eventually across the whole of the United Kingdom. Many museums, scientific institutions and even stately homes feel that they are bringing their message to the people by giving them something that the people can relate to. This ends up usually with paintball and Pokemon weekends at stately homes, and boy bands declaiming the importance of biodiversity in a rather unpleasant mock Cockney drawl. We too believe that it's important to bring our message across to ordinary people within a context that ordinary people can relate to. However, we refuse to do it by dumbing it down, because we don't want to insult the vast majority of the people in this country. We don't believe that their message should be dumbed down, but we do believe that it should be made accessible. So the first of these static displays is taking place in the pub in our own village, the Farmer's Arms, owned by our good friends Alan and Jenny Lindsay. Because we have very little money, the process of setting up the first display has taken several months. We started it in the middle of December, and it still isn't finished now. But we're getting there. And I hope that in the next episode of On the Track, we'll be able to show you something a bit more exciting than an empty tank and David pretending to be an air hostess. We have big plans for this year, including a complete overhaul of the conservatory, making it into a dedicated tropical room. So, when we get offered fish tanks like this on Free Cycle, 2 4-foot fish tanks on a stand for nothing, we jump at the chance. As regular viewers will know, I'm fascinated by the stories of the chupacabra from Puerto Rico, and indeed I've made 2 expeditions there and written 2 books on the subject. However, I've also been to Texas, where there's been a string of sightings of strange blue-skinned, hairless dogs, which for some reason have become equated with the chupacabra in the minds of the mass media.
But I don't believe it. It's in the daytime.
A DeWitt County deputy in training reacts to seeing what just may be
a chupacabra.
How crazy is that?
I've been patrolling these back roads for a long time, and I've never run across anything like this until that day.
Last Friday, hours before sunset, Corporal Brandon Riedel and his partner were checking fence lines near Cuero when they stumbled across the alleged creature of the night.
We came around a corner and saw this running down the road.
Riedel says it's hairless with a long snout, short front legs, and long back legs.
It's just strange.
Noticing the unique photo op, he turned on his squad car's dash cam.
So I hit the record button and it was just, this is what we got.
What they got has the deputies and even Sheriff Jody Vasky baffled.
It's amazing. We still don't know what it is.
Some believe the thing that eventually disappeared into the brush could be the legendary goat sucker himself, the chupacabra. Riedel says it's about the size of a coyote, but when he froze the video and saw its profile,
I knew it wasn't a coyote.
He tells us it looks a lot like this creature found dead in Cuero last year. It was first believed to be a chupacabra, but tests at Texas State showed it was some sort of coyote. The sheriff believes the beast caught on tape may be the same thing. But as Cuero receives national attention and quickly becomes the chupacabra capital of the world, this lawman admits anything is possible.
I love this for DeWitt County. It has brought a lot of attention to us. We're not near ready to put this one to bed yet.
Reporting in Cuero, Texas, I'm Andrew McIntosh.
Those who accept that these creatures are not chupacabras of any description generally believe that they are coyotes with mange or some similar skin disease. However, just take a look at this one. It's bounding along so energetically that it would give Biggles a run for his money. I have also been told stories of mothers with small cubs, all equally naked and all equally blue. My theory, and I gotta stress that it's just a theory and that I'm about the only person who believes in it, is that this is the beginning of speciation amongst the coyote population of this part of Texas. We are seeing evolution in action. We are seeing the beginning of something completely new, a completely new species. However, like Max asked me the other day, we have no idea what the evolutionary advantage of no hair and bright blue skin would be, so, for the time being at least, this has got to remain a mystery. But it is a mystery that the CFZ are damn well going to solve.
Holy smoke, land sakes alive, I never thought this could happen to me.
You'll remember that last month we had all sorts of dead seal related tomfoolery, and that over my reportage of it I played this piece of music. This piece of music had absolutely nothing to do with dead seals, but I said that it did have something to do with a little known Ethiopian cryptid called the devil bird. Well, congratulations to Mark Lingard from Cork in Ireland, who got the question completely and utterly right. The music is Midnight on the Murder Mile from the debut album by Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine, which was released 20 years ago this year. The Ethiopian devil bird is a giant bat. And Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine's guitarist, Les Carter, whose carnal proclivities gave the band its name, also had a nickname, and that nickname was Fruit Bat. Well done, Mark. It's good to know that I'm not the only crypto dude left on the planet who's obsessed with the minutiae and trivia of rock and roll over the past half-century. But this month's competition is far easier, or at least I think it is. Simple. What is this, and where is this? The first person who sends the correct answer by email wins a 3 years membership to the CFZ. Simple. But the greatest news of the month, for me at least, wasn't at all cryptozoological. It was that after nearly 40 years, I finally met my favourite band of all time, Dr. Strangely Strange. I've been using their music on the track ever since we started, and it's a great pleasure, after having filmed their reunion show in London in mid-February, to have the band themselves introduce us to our regular monthly roundup of new and rediscovered creatures.
But it's oddly normal. Strangely strange, but oddly normal.
10 new amphibians, including a spiky-skinned orange-legged rain frog, 3 poison frogs and 3 glass frogs, have been found in Colombia's mountainous Tacahuna area of the Darien, near the border with Panama, Conservation International announced in early February. The species were discovered during a recent rapid assessment program expedition in the area. This area of the Darien is isolated from the Andes mountain range. It is recognized as a center of endemism and valuable for its high biological density, they said. Historically, it has served as a bridge for flora and fauna exchange between North and South America. Over a period of 3 weeks, the scientists identified some 60 species of amphibian, 20 reptiles and almost 120 species of birds, many of them apparently found nowhere else in the world. Another dozen or so species of frog have been discovered in India and Sri Lanka since the beginning of the year. This peculiar purple feather was actually discovered a couple of years ago, but I'm including the film here, A, because he's ridiculously cute, and B, because of the most peculiar noise that he makes, something like a strangled chicken. A brightly coloured fish from Indonesia, which bounces across the seabed, has been hailed as a new species by scientists, who have described it as the psychedelic frogfish. Research published in a US scientific journal says that the fish was spotted by scuba divers off the island of Ambon in eastern Indonesia. The question with this new discovery is how it went unnoticed for so long. The psychedelic of frogfish is completely covered in swirling concentric stripes, white and blue on a peach background. It has a broad flat face, thick, fleshy cheeks and chin and eyes that look forward, almost like those of a human being. The fish was spotted by divers off the coast of Ambon Island last year. They described it moving away from them in a series of short hops, its pelvic fins pushing it off the seabed with each bounce. The overall impression, say the research team who wrote the paper, was of an inflated rubber ball bouncing along the bottom. The species was first discovered about 20 years ago, but sat on a shelf wrongly labelled and gathering dust until this most recent find. It came to light when the divers were unable to identify the fish from photographs circulated amongst their colleagues and sent pictures to a frogfish expert at the University of Washington. Apparently about 200 new species of freshwater fish are discovered each year. And so far this year, discoveries include a new dwarf cichlid found in caves, 2 new species of pike cichlid, including this rather fearsome looking fellow, a new barb, and a new species of armoured catfish which apparently climbs up rocks. Well, that's about it for this episode. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's helped, particularly my cameramen for this episode, who've included Max Blake, Graham Inglis, Ol Lewis and Dave Braun Phillips, as well as my lovely wife Karina. I'd like to thank Karina in particular for wandering around the whole of the country with me, backwards and forwards, being the most perfect helpmeet that a man could have. I'd also like to thank everybody who's helped me on the onwards and upwards path of the CFZ blogger this month. In only 6 weeks we've gone from having 50 hits a day to having over 3,000 on one occasion. I want to thank everybody, Tim, Fleur, Matt, Ol, everybody, all our guest bloggers, and particularly Gavin Lloyd Wilson, who tirelessly does the daily news posts. So guys, the CFZ are having a really good year. It's only going to get better. So until next time, be seeing you.
Where it is, I think we are headed. But it's oddly gone.